I was waiting for this one. What made you quit Dokkan and Legends content? Look, it's been a while since we did one of these videos. I used to do this a lot back in the day, in my early days of YouTube. And it really allows you guys to kind of meet the person behind the camera, because obviously every single day you'll see the content from Yu-Gi-Oh! To the Dragon Ball stuff, the loudmouth idiot. But a lot of times I feel like it's important to also kind of give you a piece of myself so you kind of understand who I am as a person, and we feel a bit more connected. So what I'm gonna do here is, if I can get my sentence out, comment section below, give me any other questions that you might have, and I'll go through and try to answer as many as possible that obviously aren't addressed in this video. But I picked out a bunch of questions that I grabbed from my community post the other day, and I figured let's answer them on camera. I guess I should take this off so you can see the classic background that, you know, has been part of my life for the past 10 years, technically, because it all started and accumulated over the course of the last 10 years. First question, do you feel restricted at all with the content you make in terms of what performs well on the channel? Absolutely. I don't think what people understand is it doesn't matter how big your channel grows. If you are basically branded within a niche of the community, then that's kind of all you can really do. So I've obviously tested the waters over the course of the past couple years, especially when I used to do Mario Maker. And it's funny because Mario Maker is weird to me. When I first started doing Mario Maker, it did well. I think the first video absolutely did horrible, which I expected it to do because it's something new. I'm the Dragon Ball guy. I'm not supposed to be known for Mario. And Mario worked for the first year, and then something happened where it just would not recommend. The way YouTube worked, what a lot of people don't understand is it doesn't matter if you have 1 million subs. What matters is getting in that initial home spot on YouTube. Like when you pull up youtube.com, those first 8 videos that show up, you need to be in that spot. And once you start not getting put in that spot, that video shows less, and then next thing you know, it's like that video performed horribly. And it's funny because the dashboard would then tell you like, oh, this video is not being recommended, therefore no one's watching it. It's like, yes, YouTube, you control that. Please help me out. So yeah, there's definitely a restriction in what you can and can't do. You know, something I would love to do is try out something like God of War. You know, I obviously dabble with like Sonic Frontiers a little bit, and I do want to test out new games when they come out. But it's just one of those things where either it'll work or it won't work. Sometimes you get lucky. Like when I did Master Duel, I never expected it to actually work in an algorithm as well as it did. I expected that first video to do horrible, and then that's it, never tried it again. But because it worked and it allowed me to do it, and I love Yu-Gi-Oh, I was like, this is great. The restriction definitely comes down to, you know, how YouTube handles it. But if it doesn't get recommended, then you just kind of have to move on at some point, which is why ultimately I had to stop doing Mario Maker at some point. Ooh, this is a good question. Has there ever been a point in your YouTube career where you wanted to quit and start something new? Absolutely. I feel like as content creators, we all hit burnout at some point, and the thing that keeps me going is being able to kind of evolve with the content that comes out. Like I was blessed enough to the point where whenever a new game came out within the Dragon Ball world, I was able to like adapt to those games, and the algorithm showed me enough love to keep going. But if you get to that point where YouTube does not recommend you, it's like, damn, what do I do? Like, how long can I keep going? So I don't know. Like I said, I got lucky, you know, and I just love playing these games. I love hanging out. I love being me. And I love being able to share that feeling of like when you come home from work or school, whatever, you get on the couch and play games with your boys or girls and just hang out. That's the atmosphere I always love to create on the channel, and I want to keep doing that, you know, because that's what we grew up with. You know, we always get told when you get older, you want to have time for games and hobbies and fun stuff. It's all about work. That's bullshit. Anyone tells you that is lying to you. If there's something that you love, any passion you want to pursue or that you want to keep involved in your life, you'll be able to do that if you choose to do that. So I am always going to push idea on people to live that way, because you should. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable. And when you're miserable, you're not having a good time. Pursue the things you love and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. What is your inspiration to create content? It's funny. It's not really an inspiration to create content. I just like to create. Again, the same thing I just basically said a couple seconds ago. I just love being able to sit down and just play games and just do it on a global scale with people across the world that just sit down. Again, the way I see myself doing content is I'm sitting there, I got my friend sitting next to me, and we're both just playing games, or sometimes it's me, and then you guys are on the couch behind me just hanging out. That's what that is. That's the environment that I just always sought out to create, and I just love that. And I think it's just that, the idea of being able to sit down and number one, make someone's day and just kind of hang out together as a squad, as a giant crew across the world, is just dope to me. And I don't know, I also like to create. I've always created even before I was a YouTuber. You know, I used to have a podcast back in college, and I just like to create things here and there. I just like to express myself, and YouTube is the best way to do it. There it is. I feel like I knew I was gonna get this question. What keeps you from getting burned out and making content, playing games? Honestly, again, if you're new here, I've uploaded every single day since 2014. I don't know how I've done it. My challenge to myself back then was actually to see if I can upload for 10 years straight. And it's kind of crazy to know that I'm getting to that point where Next year will be 10 years, which is kind of wild to me. Well, end of next year. It was end of like 2013 when I was uploading daily. So getting there is kind of crazy, but what keeps me from getting burned out is just the fact that I'm constantly just playing what I love. That's why, like, you're gonna see a lot of series come and go on my channel, and I cannot go back and play those games. Like, I know someone's gonna ask me probably like, is Dragon Block come back or is Dokkan come back? And the answer is no. If I was still playing those same games 10 years later, then I'll be absolutely burned out and unhappy. And honestly, happiness is the #1 goal in life when it comes down to like growing as a person. If you get to the point where you're just miserable, no amount of money is worth being unhappy. Like, if I was still uploading Dokkan, for example, or even Dragon Block, and I was getting millions of views for that, I would be a miserable person. I would have a lot of money, but I'll be absolutely miserable, and that's why I don't do it. So the way I keep myself from getting burned out is constantly seeking out the things that I enjoy and love. That's why I can always guarantee you any video that's ever uploaded on my channel it came from the soul, it came from the heart, and I loved every second of it. Unless I'm getting my ass beat, in which case I might be a bit salty in those videos, but still, I had fun doing it. I was wondering if there's ever a time where you doubt yourself when creating content. If only you understand how often this happens to not just me, but my friends and content creators in general. We get imposter syndrome so much. I get it because I feel like I'm human. Basically what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of times where I definitely doubt myself, but that like shakes off the very next day. It's like one of those things where I basically have to sleep it off, and then when I wake up the next day, I'm fine and great, and I look back the day before and I think, man, I can't believe I was thinking like that. I don't know, I guess you just gotta keep reminding yourself that you are heading in the right position and you are confident with the things you're doing, and as long as you're giving it your everything, there's nobody that can tell you otherwise, including yourself. Imposter syndrome kicks in, like, do I deserve to be where I'm at? And I end up convincing myself that I don't. But again, that lasts a day, and then the next day I wake up and I'm happy as hell. Basically does this. It's like a whole roller coaster of emotions every single day as a content creator. And we all go through it. Neon goes through it, Dado goes through it, my entire friend circle goes through it. It's a norm. And I'm sure a lot of you guys go through it as well. It's perfectly normal, but you just gotta keep reminding yourself that nobody can tell you otherwise, including yourself. I was wondering if you would ever play RuneScape on your channel with the 3 idiots. We actually want to, but again, go back to what I was saying earlier, it all comes down to whether or not the algorithm will allow us. There's a lot of 3 idiots content that we want to do that we just don't, just because we just get afraid that it just might not work, because often it doesn't. But it's funny you asked for RuneScape specifically, because we've been talking about doing like an Iron Man challenge on RuneScape for like a year now, and just haven't sat down to do it. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. But if it doesn't work out, then we'll try something new. Because end of the day, that's all you can do. Oh, this is a good question. Do you ever feel like your competitiveness comes out too much and makes content a little dry? Absolutely. I noticed a lot of people saying you were going too hard on Gang Beasts when others were messing around, like Dada being a lobster. I don't personally share this opinion, but I saw a lot of people saying, and they want to hear your stance on it. I absolutely get super competitive, but that's the thing, it's not just me. My entire friend circle gets competitive, including even people like Dado. He might be goofing around, but that man wants to win. And honestly, I think with me, what I notice is a lot of times people just don't really want me to win in the videos. And it's like, I don't get that mentality. It's if I end up losing, it's like, oh, you're trash. But if I win, it's like, oh, you're a tryhard. I cannot win in those videos. It's actually hilarious. And my favorite part is when people are like, Dion and so-and-so are just holding back, having fun. No, they're not. No, they're not. I can guarantee you, I know my friends better than anybody. When it comes down to us doing any form of competition amongst each other, we are going all out to destroy each other. Whether we are playing Ash Blossom in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or we're playing Hit in Xenoverse, or playing the Fusions and Fighters, we're doing our best to destroy each other. But I do admit, sometimes I let my competitive get the best of me. And I think the main reason why is because a lot of times people want me to lose. They expect me to lose in these videos. And then when I end up losing, like I said, the comments get toxic because it's like, oh, you're garbage, you're trash, blah, blah, blah. Or if I win, it's like, you won because of this. It's like people are making excuses for why the other person lost. And I never really understood that mentality. Matter of fact, my favorite thing about this is when I actually do tone back and try to be more on the fun side, and then I lose for it. And then the comments will be like, well, you know, if this is you, you would have absolutely done what the other person has done. And it's like, no, I would not. For example, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a great example. I'll build a deck that's more fun-based, and like my friends will build something super competitive, and they'll absolutely destroy me. And then it's like, I'll be all like, damn, we could have had fun with this. And then the comments will be like, if this was the other way around, you would have done the same thing. It's like, no, I would not. That's why I specifically did the video the way I did it. I don't know. I do get super competitive, and I do try to tone back on it. And I think, like I said, the main reason why that happens a lot is because I feel like people expect me to lose and they want me to lose. And then they get mad if I win, and they get mad if I lose. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation sometimes. So yeah, I'm just doing my best, man. What I can guarantee you is we're all equally competitive. Whether or not we look like it, we're all on the road to win. We're doing our best to destroy each other. And that's something that I I feel like a lot of people don't get between our friend circle specifically, because no one wants to lose at the end of the day. Let's be real. Do you sometimes regret making your channel Dragon Ball focused? Absolutely not. When I first started uploading, I was doing a little bit of everything. I was posting Skyrim, Call of Duty, I was posting old school Nintendo games, and they weren't really working. It wasn't until I started posting Dragon Ball when I realized that there was a niche on YouTube and no one was uploading Dragon Ball. And as somebody who grew up with it and super obsessed with it, to me it was like the coolest thing in the world being able to make a channel on Dragon Ball. But the main reason why I chose Dragon Ball wasn't my sole love for the series. It was the fact that we get a new game every single year and it's always different. Sometimes it's a bad game, you know, we grew up through the Battle of Z era. Sometimes it's a good game, like Fighters or Xenoverse. I don't regret it at all. I think it's cool being able to live with the series that I grew up with. And I remember all the time I was told as a kid, like, you cannot, you know, grow up and still consume Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon like that. And it's like, I'm literally the living embodiment of you were wrong about that, because you absolutely can. If another game from the creators of A Way Out and Takes-Two comes out, would you play with Dion? Absolutely. Me and Dion have been looking for a new co-op game since It Takes-Two and A Way Out. If you guys ever have recommendations for stuff you want us to play, we're absolutely down. Doing the two-player stuff, the co-op stuff like that has been so much fun and probably one of my favorite content on the channel. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. Have you ever had anxiety over something? Absolutely, on the daily, if only you understand. God damn. I feel like anxiety is perfectly normal to have, and I just want you to realize that we're all there with you. I am definitely one of those people. I have it all the time over every little thing. I probably have it more than everybody. You just can't usually tell, because again, this is why I like doing these videos like this, because you'll see me all excited and hype and playing the games and just in gamer mode, but you never see the person behind it. I have it all the time, man. And the best way to deal with it, honestly, is I just consume the things that I love. You know, whether I'm watching anime, playing Yu-Gi-Oh, playing random games, like I just surround myself in the things that make me happy and that I love, and that lets me basically control the best way. So yeah, we're all in this together at the end of the day, and that's something that's very important to remember. Can you see any Mario Maker or more fan-made content appear more on the channel in the future? Absolutely. Mario Maker, I wanted to be clear, is not dead. The main reason why I stopped doing Mario Maker on a consistent basis is because it took a lot of time every single week. Like, I would sit down every single Thursday at like 9 a.m. I want to say, to record, and then by like 8 o'clock at night, the video will be done. It took so much time to record and edit that I just could not do it on a consistent basis while the series was like underperforming. I don't plan anything. I want that to be very clear. I like to sit down and record for the next day, the day of. The only reason why I know what I'm uploading right now is because I'm currently traveling. But outside that, normally I'm just basically uploading and operating on the per day basis, and then I just take it easy that way. I feel like I just answered this. How do you feel when you drop a game because the video wasn't performing on the YouTube algorithm? Actually, I feel terrible, because what sucks is basically by the time you drop a series, the people that are watching the video are the ones who are invested in it, and you have to drop it because YouTube is just not recommending that video anymore to newer eyes. And it gets to the point where you just have to figure out how much longer you can do the series before it just doesn't make any sense for growth, for financial reasons, and for the time and effort you put into it. And it sucks because, again, I would love to do Mario Maker on a weekly basis, but I feel like if I could break in even a little bit into the algorithm, it'll be perfectly fine. Maybe in like 2023, I'll revisit it and try to do it consistently again at some point. But overall, like when the video doesn't perform well for me, I just move on, essentially. It's like, if I drop a video and I see it's a 10 out of 10, at the end of the day, if it's like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 still, then it's like, it is what it is. The next day will be better. If the next day is worse, then the next day will be better. You know, you can't always drop bangers, and you can't always get recommended in an algorithm. It's just basically just the truth of it, of being a content creator. You just have to kind of accept it, and I've accepted it a long time ago. But yeah, as far as Mario Maker, I do want to bring it back, and I'm hoping to actually bring it back on a consistent basis in the future. I was waiting for this one. What made you quit Dokkan and Legends content? Dokkan Legends is an interesting question, and I feel like it's gonna be like the biggest part of this video. But Dokkan Legends is content like that you have to upload on a consistent basis to be in the algorithm. The second you start uploading it less, the less the videos are shown. And on top of that, they're very, very expensive. And honestly, summons to me are just not fun anymore. You know, I've said this before. I'm very open about that. Summons used to be so fun back in the early days of Legends and specifically Dokkan, because a banner would drop, we would do the summons, we would all hop on a call with each other, text each other like, what'd you get? And it was just fun. And then it got to the point where summons were all about forcing the main pull in the first video, and then there's no journeys to get those cards anymore. And then it just wasn't as exciting. But honestly, the other big thing is you can only play games so long before you get bored of it. And for me, again, the other key thing is the algorithm. If you're not uploading these videos on multiple times per week basis, you literally cannot do that kind of content because it just won't show. Again, I feel like this entire video is gonna be all about the algorithm. If you're not uploading Legends at least a couple times a week, it just does not work. It does not work. And with me toning back to doing it once, basically a month now, it's like if I upload it has to be something I'm really excited about because I know it's not gonna perform well. If it's not something that's super exciting, I'm just not gonna waste my time and effort. Because honestly, I don't even enjoy sitting there watching the summon stream go by and not pulling stuff. It's just not fun. It's not exciting. With Dokkan, like I said, it's been years. You know, I quit Dokkan, I think at like what, year 5, year 6, something like that. It's approaching year 8 right now. You can only play the game for so long before you're like, all right, I'm done with this. And that's why it's never gonna come back. You know, people always have this theory that Dokkan is gonna secretly come back on my channel the second they drop Hakai Beerus or something like that. It's not gonna happen. Like, I am completely done with Dokkan. And the other thing also is, I feel like with Dokkan, the thing that always bugged me is people that watch Dokkan, at least from what I've seen, not everybody, but like a good chunk of people, only want to see Dokkan. We even see this like on stream. Like, I know when Nano goes live sometimes, I'll be in his chat and he'll be playing something. The first thing I'll see in his chat comments is like, oh, so no Dokkan today? It's like, there's more to life than Dokkan. You gotta give more games a chance. And I think that honestly helped me burning out from Dokkan is whenever I did something else that wasn't Dokkan, people will get upset about it. It's like, all right, I gotta tone back. I gotta back out. Again, if I keep playing the same game for like 7 years straight that I'm, you know, clearly losing interest in, I'm just gonna go mad. Dokkan has got to the point where I'm like, I'm not having fun every single week because there's a new banner to pull for. I don't care. I had to take a break and it just never come back, unfortunately. Here's the other funny part. A lot of times people will be like, well, you stopped uploading Dokkan. The reason why they didn't notice is because they only watch for the Dokkan content, which is like, that's exactly another reason why I stopped doing it. The fact that there's still people a year and a half later that are like, you stopped uploading Dokkan, that have that response make me go, yes, I did. And the fact that you didn't even know, you were only waiting for Dokkan content and haven't been to my channel since, tells me I made the right decision. One of the reasons why. I don't hate the game. I don't hate the community. I don't hate anything in regards to mobile games. It's just not my cup of tea anymore, and I'm just looking to kind of get past those games. How much do you wing it on things, and how much do you plan out on things? I have not planned things in years. I feel like being able to just wing it has always been the way I approach life, and I think that's like a very, I don't know, I just like being able to go day by day basis. Now, if I'm planning a trip, like right now, I do tend to, you know, pre-record and plan that out over the course of the next couple weeks. But in general, I don't plan anything, man. I wake up, I sit down in front of this camera and go, what am I gonna do today? No, I don't care. Dog, Dokkan can literally add an actual hardcore PvP mode that's like played and not just you tapping on the orbs, and I still won't play the game. I'm completely done with it. And I think something else that really burns me out is the constant questions about it. Like, the amount of times I deal with a daily, and I'm not attacking you, by the way, but the amount of times I deal with a daily when someone reaches out and they're like, Dokkan, 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 I'm like, dog, you gotta leave me alone. You gotta leave me alone. It's not making me happy. If you care about my true happiness and you want me to be happy, you will let that game go in my life. Whatever happened to you playing Blue Gogeta? I saw you play him a few times in older videos, but never again. I'm very particular. Again, it's funny with me, when it comes down to any game that I play, once I found the thing that I like, I just stick to that one thing. And if I try new things and don't enjoy it, I don't really tend to kind of like, I guess, branch out and try new things. Like, for example, Dion, fighters. Let's use fighters as an example. Dion will play through every single character and then learn to like those characters. With me, I'll play a character and I realize, wow, I really don't like this one thing, or I don't like how this character plays or how this character does. Or Yu-Gi-Oh! I really don't like how this deck works, what this deck does, and I just don't play it. But then you know what I do like to do? The things that I enjoy. That's why you'll always see me playing the same batch of characters in like Dragon Ball games, the same couple decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I just don't care about the other stuff. And it's not that I don't want to learn it, I just genuinely just don't enjoy those things. With Blue Gogeta, I don't mind Gogeta, I just kind of stopped enjoying the character. It just wasn't as much fun to me. And I just slowly just backed away. I mean, I can still play him. He's just not fun to me, if that makes sense. Why are you simultaneously the most toxic and kindest person on Twitch? Like, I'm scared to say hello in your chat. I might get banned for spelling it wrong. I don't know. I'm just very roasty, if that makes sense. It's like people will roast me all the time in a friendly manner, and I kind of like to respond the same way. So if I see someone say something stupid or something, you know, goofy, I'll make fun of it. But it's never like in a way where I'm attacking. It's always out of love. I never do anything out of like hatred. Unless, of course, you know, we have a troll every now and then, it'll pop up and I decide to end their life and quote tweet it or something and just ruin them. It happens. That's usually just because it's built up. But in general, like, you should never take anything I say serious. especially if it sounds like an attack, because I don't intend on it being like an attack or any of that stuff. I'm just trying to have fun, and it's all out of love. Like, that's the most important part. It's always out of love. I think this is a good one to end it on. What the hell is what is go? Why are you always saying it? It's driving me insane. What is go? What is go? What is go? So when I first started doing YouTube, I used to always say, what is going on my super sandwiches? It's a phrase that just came out of nowhere and it kind of stuck. And the reason why what is go became a thing is because Dion one day found an older video, because I used to always just sit there and go, what is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? Rhymestyle here. Say it really, really fast. And again, because I was always making content and always just, you know, doing so many things at once, I would come back from my 80-hour-a-week job to sit down and record. I'll be hype. I'll be like, what is going on, everybody? My super sandwiches, Rhymestyle here. That used to be my intro. And one day Dion found an old clip and goes, what is going on, what is going on, what is going on? And he just started making fun of it. And then he turned it into a tick. He started saying his videos to the point where I started saying it again. So that's where it came from. Dion has literally turned that into a tick for me, and I can't stop saying it. All right, I'm gonna end this video right here. It was kind of fun to sit down and answer a lot of these questions. Again, if you have any questions for yourself that you want to answer, just drop it down below. And when I'm back, I will do my best to go through as many questions as possible and just kind of like fill, you know, the comments out with stuff that people want to know. I love doing this kind of stuff just because it helps you see the person outside the camera. And I feel like that's very, very important in building community, because I'm not just the guy, the loudmouth idiot on camera that's playing games. I mean, I am, but I'm also me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support and love for the past couple years. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the comment section below.